Gym Crashers with myself, Joey the Bull, and Dondo. What's up, brother?
Not much. How are you?
Great, man. Great, great, great. Glad the weekend's coming up, and last weekend was phenomenal. I mean, dude,
Agreed.
a great show. If y'all missed it, I'm pretty sure it's still running on Fight TV, I believe, on some replays. Check it out, man. Our King of the Hill tournament we had on Friday went off with a bang. A lot of great team matches together. I mean, there was some matches where some of these guys were getting a little physical too. It's like you had to get some referees in there to break them up. It was that crazy.
Yeah, what Joe said exactly. So Kings of the Hill, San Pedro, 3-on-3, happened on May 7th. We're going to bring it back to you in just a couple months. We're waiting on a date and a location, but we will announce that very soon. But high-level jiu-jitsu, the top of the food chain was there. I can only say that it was fireworks, and a lot of unexpected things did bust out, but I do want people to buy the live stream in order to see that. I could give you a play-by-play, but much better to see it in action, and always better to actually see those things with your own eyes, with your friends and family, having fun, because that's what it's all about. That's why we bring it to you.
Of course. And the venue was beautiful. I mean, this is my first time actually being in this San Pedro Elks Lodge, and it was nice. I mean, at first my thought I was thinking this venue was going to be like so-and-so, but when you pull up in this crazy gravel road, and you turn the corner in this nice brand new facility with the actual event being inside this stadium seating venue. It was beautiful. The setup was awesome.
There's a story behind that, but I guess I shouldn't get into it. Go ahead and Google the history. But yeah, it's on a hilltop. It overlooks the waterfront. Waterfront is making a huge comeback. I can attest from seeing myself that the neighborhood is coming back. It's actually popping over there, restaurants, bars. Our location for the tournament was amazing, and we do intend to use that facility again. Whether it be the next one or the one after that, we'll have to wait and see what we can do, but we do intend to use them. I know Subs on the Shore had a great day on Saturday, May 8th with the ladies. So again, we're the event for the teams. For the guys, they do the ladies' events on usually the day after us, so we always wish them well. They got another event coming up in just a few weeks in Sacramento.
And it's great. The ladies' event, I did go to the Saturday event, and the ladies put on a great show, just like the guys did on Friday. I mean, these girls are hungry. They're going to attack. They're going to make that submission, and plus you have all different levels from a lot of the adults down to the little kids, and the little kids were just even hungrier. And the whole event was awesome.
I agree. For people that are learning jiu-jitsu, always great to get out and see an event like this, because the people at the top of the food chain, the pros as we call them, these guys are really snipers and adept at sinking in submissions, doing things that are unorthodox, putting submission before position, which is not something that any of us are taught, but yet they can do so on a moment's notice without worry of giving up position and lock something in and really take the money home. So that's what they do. It's interesting to see. It's a different level of jiu-jitsu. It's not something familiar to a lot of us. It's even difficult to commentate because it's so rapid, so quick that you comment on something before you know it, something else is taking place because they bait, they switch, they move, they groove, and different things are happening. And it's inventive because when you're at the black belt level, as most of our competitors are, they're inventing as they go. As you know, jiu-jitsu is evolving. So there are submissions that we're familiar with, and there are things that they invent on the spot in order to sink it in, which is unique and fun. And we've seen it over and over at Submissions on the Shore and at Gym Crashers, where there's an innovation and a change to the game. And that's because we brought in, guys with American wrestling background, guys with Sambo background, guys with jiu-jitsu, guys with judo. And we intend to bring the gi for the next one. So the guys with the gis that want to come out and compete on a team gi event, this is going to be the change. That's something we're going to add for the next one as a team gi event. So we're looking forward to offering you something different, something fun each time we come out. Doing our best. We learn as we go, and we're getting better at what we do. So please give us feedback and come out and watch us and join us and hit us up for anything that you have as ideas, because we do take that serious as well.
And yeah, and once again, and a huge shout out to most of all of our sponsors that we had: Mystic Fight, where we had Foxhound Fuels, we had Fostering Jiu-Jitsu with their jams out there, with also what's the name, DJ, and that gentleman from
Byron
DJing, and of course Our Life CBD. big, huge sponsors. Big thank you and big shout out to all those folks that were out there supporting the whole situation.
Tino Evil, they hooked up
and
the shirts.
and Tino Evil, yes. I didn't bring mine today. I'm
All right.
sorry,
We
but
love Tino Evil.
they're an awesome, awesome company. Check them out. Check out the website. They have great shirts from every different horror flick. I mean, it's pretty sweet. And you're right talking about the event where I noticed a lot of these competitors did have a lot of background just because the way they looked, the way they stance. You could tell a lot of them were just straight wrestlers. A lot of them were either cage fighters or just straight jiu-jitsu. And you could just tell by the way their styles, their takedowns were different from each other. So this event was just, it was a jiu-jitsu event, but it was actually almost like watching a full-on cage fight without throwing the fist.
Yeah, one thing that was brought to my attention, and I'm so proud of, is that we put Jim Crasher Submission Grappling on the shirt. And because of the evolution of the game on the ground, using the word jiu-jitsu is to pigeonhole sometimes because people do come from different disciplines. So no, it was not a straight jiu-jitsu event.
Mm-hmm.
There were people with judo backgrounds, with sambo backgrounds, like I said, and catch wrestlers. We can't miss that. We had CSW, we had Badger Jones, we had Little Badger, Rosales, just a killer team that came out and again representing catch wrestling, which is something we wanted to see tested against more of a evolved game from the 10th Planet guys. And it's interesting in that they started the leg game, now it's evolved into something else. So it's high level. It's again something unique because the weight limit on this past one was 540 combined. That puts a lot of odd competitors against each other that you're not going to see in a traditional judo, jiu-jitsu, grappling style event because of the weight classes. So yeah, you can see them in absolutes. I get it. But are you going to see it? Maybe not. So come out to Gym Crashers and you're going to see Chewy Urbina versus Kyle Chambers. Very, very unorthodox.
Exactly. And I was about to bring that up. I mean, you have somebody like Chewy that's this tall, and you have Kyle Chambers as somebody that tall, or
still high level.
Or Dorian.
Grappling.
Dorian, same thing with him, and just and Chewy's game. I mean, you gotta watch Fight TV, but he's known for a lot of his crazy actions on the mat, and you'll see that once you subscribe to Fight TV and actually pay for the event and check out Chewy's moves. Man, that guy, he's something else.
And Dorian is someone that he was mentioning that comes from Hustle in Santa Ana. It's purple belt, recent purple belt, rolling against black belts. So we're not limited to just black belts. Anybody that is on a team that wants to get out and compete, fits within the weight limits, and you got a good team that can compete at a high level, we're definitely interested in you. So reach out to us. Dory, again, competing at the highest level. He representing his school, makes it into the finals, and just did a fabulous job. We love seeing people with talent. It's got nothing to do with belt color, especially with the no gi. In gi, I get it. It's going to be a whole different game. Going to be able to gift wrap someone real quick. So I expect to see fireworks with that. It is a new addition to what we want to do, and we're still open to suggestions as well. So it's growing, it's changing, and it's going to evolve just like anything else in the jiu-jitsu game. So I'm excited for the future of Gym Crashers.
And what's great about this competition, in the beginning, everybody has that game face. Everybody's like ready and pumped up and ready to rock and roll. But at the end of the day, when the event was over, everybody was just, they were good friends. And it's just that was the great positive moment about that whole event too.
I like that. Yeah, we hope for sportsmanship, but coming from the fight end of the game, it's not always the case. And there were some fighters there, people with a strong fight background, whether it be boxing, MMA, Muay Thai, or all three, with jiu-jitsu. So, yeah, I mean, of course, we want to put on a nice, good sportsmanship, competitive event. But I get it. Emotions are high. It is physical, extremely physical, because there's no more physical than when you're body against body. Yeah. There's no running when you're body against body.
No.
So emotionally, as people's stress levels were tested, people's adrenaline levels were tested, and not everybody gets along. We get it. That's okay. Be a man. Shake a hand and move on and live to fight another day. I rather approach it from that perspective than be huggy-kissy about everything, because it is a combat sport.
Yes.
I think at the end of the day, if we can regain our composure and operate at a respectful level, that's the ultimate goal.
Of course. So the outcome, I mean, I don't want to spoil if you haven't seen the event on Fight TV. Was the outcome surprise to you? Who was going to take over this event? When
I was ready to be surprised, and the reason I was is because, again, we had Team Our Life with Kyle Chambers. We had CSW with the Badger, the badass Badger, the Badger.
Mike
Now, I
John.
love little Badger, but man, when do you see Ben Jones on the mat
No
in a competitive environment? Mike John, Josh Squire's team, Dragon Squad again, high level guys from Russ Mirror Jiu Jitsu, from 10th Planet Orange. They're gamers, and they're guys that compete on a monthly basis, if not twice a month. Sometimes Mike John actually competed the day after our event in sub-only series. So 2 events in 1 weekend. These are guys that are gamers, and they're well-respected
crazy.
in the game. And as everybody knows in jiu-jitsu, you're just going to get better by competing, by grinding, by rolling, and that's all they do. So you can't count anybody out.
Oh, no.
Quentin, just an amazing guy. He was injured in the first Jim Crasher event. Second one comes back and is just technical, on his game. Just a great guy. What were some of the other teams?
And much love and respect to those 3 young boys that came through. I forget the team.
Oh, yeah,
name.
yeah, yeah.
3 young kids. 3 young. I mean, these kids were like. I don't think they were like.
Team Good Fun. Team Good Rolling.
Good rolling. Those kids were amazing.
Well, the young man named Dominic. Dominic, is that not? That's a different team. Different team.
That's
A Badgers team. No.
no, that kid is great. And he's
Oh no, he's on Peerless.
yeah, Peerless.
Dominic
That
from
team-
Peerless.
That team is
That guy's a set. Well, yeah. Well, going without words, Stephen Martinez's team is a team to be reckoned with. And
Yeah.
Dominic's the youngest one at 17,
Crazy.
and he was cleaning house.
He was cleaning
Stephen
house.
Martinez looks like an action figure, running the place. So that guy's something else. I can't wait to get him on to hear his story. I don't. And Briones too, yeah.
Yeah.
But man, it really, when you look at Stephen Martinez, it's like looking at
Like a
a
comic book.
GI Joe figure. I expect him to pull out an M16. He's one of those guys, big guy. He's a big dude.
Yeah.
But yeah, that Dominic kid, young man's incredible and adept. And what I like is that he's fluid. One thing that I like to see in jiu-jitsu is someone who moves, not someone who incorporates such things as a lockdown or somewhere where they hold someone in place for 5 minutes.
No.
This guy is moving, grooving, and he's proficient in all positions. And that's an incredible thing. That's what you want to be. So I like that.
and his composure for 17 years old.
Yeah, he was unfazed.
Unfazed by anything.
And he was in the game the whole time. And when he left, he was a gentleman, a great sportsman. I don't know if you guys noticed, but he was bruised and battered and maybe even had a black eye or two. He was pretty, he gave it his all is what I'm getting at.
Well, him and Chewy went at it. I mean, it was a great match between him and.
That's a great example. So Chewy,
Yeah.
compact, 5 feet of testosterone is all I can say. He's packed tight. But he's able to frame. People get a hold of him. He's able to leverage himself to even just inches away, centimeters away, to impose his game. And in such a way that is baffling, because being almost half or 3/4 of the size of an opponent, you don't think that he's going to get away with what he gets away with. But then he imposes his will, and before any match ends, you see Chewy in the offensive position. It may seem that he's being defensive quite a bit, but there is a size differential. He's strong as hell.
Yes, he is.
A piece of steel is what he is. But once he gets a hold of something, and you see the look, the business on his face, I fear for the person that he's up against.
He had Dory.
He had him.
Oh
He
yeah.
had him.
And then Dory's just like, not going to quit.
Dory has
No.
no quit in him, but Chewy looked like he was going to crank the ankle off the leg. There's just no quit in him either. So yeah, it's a unique thing.
And these guys are great. Myself and Adam Arabi, we actually interviewed these guys before the show, and we interviewed Chewy. We interviewed Dorian and Mike John, and of course some of the sponsors are out there, and our local rocker. Geez, I'm just disrespect this guy. One of your buddies, this lead singer from this rock band, Mike. Is it Michael? Wait.
Oh, Micro Macio.
Michael Macia.
I
Yeah.
know what you mean. Yeah, he's in Spanish, Espanol.
Yeah, so
Rock
we,
en Español.
we interviewed him too, and I mean these guys were great on interview, and
Yeah.
hopefully we'll get those videos edited up, and so we can throw them on the show.
There's another team. So you got Brian Mendez. It's his hometown. It's San Pedro.
Oh,
We
yeah.
got San Pedro Fight Club. He's got Dr. Armin Hammer. He's got Micro Macio from Artemis, who actually trains with San Pedro Fight Club. Six Blades. So they're all Six Blades dudes in a sense, but they all have skills from Ibero, Artemis, Chad George, of course. And then I know that Dr. Arm & Hammer's even up at 10th Planet headquarters.
But they were all joking around saying that they were the oldest team that was there too.
I don't think that was a joke. I think they're all in their 40s.
They're all saying like we're the oldest guys here. But they
Yeah.
did a great job, man. Those guys are phenomenal.
But the combat skill that's there. So we start with Brian, who's a Marine,
Mm-hmm.
judo trained black belt, jiu-jitsu trained black belt, just adept at hand-to-hand combat.
Yeah.
That's a dangerous man from all aspects. Mike Hermosillo just fought in Mexico City in Budo Cento. He fought, I believe it was 29 Palms MMA last year, maybe a year and a half ago before the shutdown. So he's an MMA fighter. He was at a CMMA Gardena. He has his own gym now, Artemis Jiu-Jitsu in Southgate, and training under Brian to even further develop his skills.
Wow.
And then I don't know a lot about Dr. Arm & Hammer other than he's in our age bracket, which means he's been doing it a while. Black belt. I know he's under 10th Planet. I know he trains with Brian Mendez. And his performance that night was not lackluster. In order to survive in that game with sharks, you got to be able to swim, and he swam hard.
Oh yeah, and he was dead serious. That man in his face when I
Yeah.
was watching him walking around the mats, there was no like joking him. He was out to kill. He was not to kill, but you know what I'm saying. Just his
Yeah.
whole mentality was
No, you got
attack,
to put it on.
put him out, done deal.
If you don't have killer instinct, you shouldn't be competing. You
Well, yeah.
really have to be able to put people away. And it shouldn't be a hesitation because hesitation causes all your worst nightmares to come true.
Yeah.
People that hesitate should not compete.
And he was hungry. That guy was hungry. I
Yeah.
mean, just watching him, I was just like, damn, he's really ready to murder somebody in that mat.
Yeah, he's definitely capable, and I hope to see them back. That is actually a little bit outside of their game. They train jiu-jitsu, and jiu-jitsu is gi or no gi. It shouldn't matter. But their bread and butter is with a gi, and I know that we may see a different outcome in the future should we have a gi event with some high level, when we have our gi event, rather.
Our next one will
We'll definitely have gi, yeah.
we tell everybody.
I kind of announced it earlier. I want to make sure we're 100%. So we do have some teams. So yeah, it'll be a different outcome. It'll be a different game, as we know. It's micro movements, it's micro adjustments, and we'll see a different kind of game played with the gi on.
And that's gonna be fun to see, especially for me, because I probably witnessed some gi tournaments, but not full on, like let's make it happen gi. You know, that's gonna be a lot of pulling, using the gi to choke somebody out or pull the arms in so you can do some crazy move on them. I like that. It's a lot of technique behind that.
I expect to see some judo too, and I know that we might have some ideas about a different rule set. So
Wow.
judo being the big brother of jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, we're instead of wrestling, we're incorporating blind man judo, so which means they start off clinching the lapel. That's it. So they're locked up already.
Got it.
So they both have two hands on each other's lapel. Referee tells them go, and first takedown wins.
So starting in blind man jiu-jitsu, both people locked on their lapels. We say go. It's up to them to be able to cross over,
Grab sleeves.
grab sleeves, shift to the hip,
Yeah.
whatever they need to do to create that throw, incorporate a trip. You know, there's so many different ways to approach it with judo. It's a game of balance and leverage, and it precedes the game on the ground. So there is no jiu-jitsu if you don't get to the ground. So that's why we want to see different aspects of the takedown game with throws, with judo, with sambo, and with American wrestling.
Yeah, awesome.
Or I should say Roman Greco wrestling.
And I also want to give a big shout out to Arturo, our EMS out there, and then of course
What's
our.
the difference between EMS and EMT?
You know, I have no idea.
Is there a difference, Robert?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, it's Art. We'll
I
call
don't-
him up
I
right
really
now.
don't know.
And also a great job with Dondo here.
Let me see if he's on the.
He probably is. We love you, Arturo. Arturo Ramos. He's one of the coaches for the wrestling team down at Trabuco Canyon and the football team.
Football team, yes.
Yep, he's a medic with one of the local hospitals. He provides safety and medical services for us. Should there be an emergency, thank God there's not, but he's a great guy.
Which, if you do follow him on his Instagram, I think today he was given lessons to do CPR because I seen all the little dummies on the table, and that's what he posted today. So maybe that's what he's doing right now. He's probably teaching some classes right now to do some CPR
Could be.
situations. But also a big shout out to, of course, our man here, Dondo, Rage, and I forgot who were the other two commentators you
We
had.
had Drea Mack. She's from Northern California. She's a brown belt in jiu-jitsu. She did a great job. We'd love to have her back. And then we had our very own Max Oplata. Max Damian being an old school MMA guy from Orange County. So we love him because he's got years in the game. He was with Apex when it was a thing in Lake Forest, Laguna Hills, with Jeremy. And even was a part of Apex at Camp Pendleton. We're talking 90s, early 2000s. So and he knows John Dello as his grandfather of jiu-jitsu and MMA. So
He did mention about talked about John a lot when
Yeah.
before the show started. He's asking me, "Oh, how's the wrestling doing?" Because of course, besides this show, but he knows John does a lot of the local wrestling
and
shows
he's
here.
into wrestling. He's one
Yeah.
of the few MMA guys, true MMA guys that understand that crossover. Other people are like, "What the heck is
What
going
the heck
on
is that?
over there?"
And honestly, I remember when I used to do a lot of ring announcing for John. I remember seeing him in the audience a lot. And
Yeah, he's a
at
real
first,
deal.
honestly, in the beginning, I thought that was John's son in the beginning because they were so close with each other.
Oh.
So I thought it was like John's kid.
John's chocolate son.
No, but no, it wasn't. I was like, okay, now I get it. But it was
Yeah.
it was great.
No, I mean, I think a lot of people do pay attention to their lineage. That's a big part of jiu-jitsu. Seldom do I see someone so strong about putting all the dots together, and Max really does have a respect level for each of the steps it took for him to get the game to what he has it today. So it's really cool of him, and he gives much respect to all of his instructors and wherever they gain their knowledge from, because that's how we all get there. So.
Yeah.
And it was different in his day. It was different in the days of training. Before there really was an evolved game of sport jiu-jitsu, you had to be able to punch, kick, elbow, knee. You had to develop your Muay Thai, your boxing, and your jiu-jitsu all at once, and you didn't know. You just didn't know what you were going to come in for class. You could wear a gi and get told to take it off, put on your boxing gloves. You just didn't know what you were going to do.
Yeah.
Or take off your gi and put on shin guards, and we're gonna throw on the 4-ounce gloves, and we're gonna be doing takedowns and kicks and punches and jiu-jitsu on the ground. So I like that he comes from that. I really respect that. It's not something we see every day, and things are more specialized now, so it's even more wonderful for people that train. But there was a time where we just didn't know what we were going to get. We just came to train,
That's it.
you know?
That's it. And then that's how, like today, I show up to the gym, show up to the studio downstairs, and normally I hit the bag, but I didn't get to do that today. So I held the mitts and I was helping out a lot of the ladies downstairs. And then after that, I got hit a couple of times in the face by accident because I was trying to throw a jab cross hook, and some girls got confused and they threw a jab cross, and then they forget to throw the hook, but they threw a jab instead and caught me a couple of times in the face. But it's all good. I can still talk. Got all my teeth.
Nice. This is the journey of Joey's weight loss that he's talking about. So now he's helping out with the ladies.
Yeah, it's great, man. I mean, I don't want to jump off the subject, but like now I weighed myself, and now I'm down to like I think I'm down at 350 now.
Okay.
So I still got a ways to go, and
350 in 3 months ain't bad, right?
no, not bad at all.
Is it 3 months already? Because
well,
we did
yes,
February, March,
yeah,
April.
Yeah, it was the end of February. So like I said before, I was at 430 before my surgery. Now I'm down at 350. And just signed up at Planet Fitness last week, so now I'm working out, Monday through Wednesday there, and then I come here to work out the bags, and then I think what I'm going to start doing is either early in the morning because I do take care of my grandson on Fridays, so before he shows up, I'm going to try to get up early in the morning to get a workout, because that Planet Fitness is open 24 hours, and put like at least a good hours of just cardio workout, and then come back and take care of my grandkid all day.
Cool.
Because
And the journey has been okay with you. You're not.
journey's been all right. I haven't slipped. I'm eating right. I'm eating like at least 3 to 4 ounces per meal. Like for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So, and I think I didn't bring this up last show, but what happens is it's a learning lesson for me, because I had dinner when I first started introducing salts into my diet, and I ate some fish. And the problem is that once you have that one bite, and then once that bite settles into your stomach and you're full, don't have that next bite thinking, oh, it'll be okay. Because when I did that, that's when everything kind of decided to come back up.
Oh, can't
and,
overdo it.
And that was a learning lesson big time, because it
And that's
was
gotta hurt.
Yes, it really hurt. I mean, it was fish I enjoyed too, but it was that last bite I had. I was like, okay, I'm getting full, but didn't realize I should have waited for at least maybe a couple of minutes to show that I am full.
Oh.
And what happens is when I had the last bite, I was like chewing, swallow, and I'm like, babe, I'll be right back. I ran to the restroom down in the restaurant. Boom.
Ouch.
I made tuna.
Ouch.
Oh man.
That's tough.
What's up? We got Coach Caesar, I think, watching the show right
Caesar
now.
Macias, man.
Yeah, he's on the show. He's watching right now. Hey, what's up, brother?
The old school warrior from Orange. We love that.
And his class right now, honestly, I give this guy a big shout out. I've been following him on his social media. His class is so huge now. I mean, before he trained, a couple of guys here. Now his class is blown up. And so, if you want to check him out, check out Macias, Coach Caesar, at his on his Instagram page, and check him out.
I think it's a testimony to warriorship. When you have a person at the level of experience that Coach Caesar Macias has, and the intensity at which he trains, pandemic or not, dojo, backyard, garage, middle of the street, he brings it. And from what his students tell you is that he brings it every damn day. And
Oh, yeah.
you can expect impact, you can expect a full-blown cardio workout, and you can expect to learn. And those
Yes.
are the things you want if you're going to develop. So Cesar Macias, man, he's definitely the testimony for steel sharpening steel. That's the dude that brings it. So, with much love for you, brother, and we appreciate what you do for the fight game. We know that you're making tomorrow's warriors today. So, love that.
And I wanted to give a shout out to one of our viewers. She's one of our younger fans. Her name is Divana Sandoval.
Ivana the Beast.
Yeah, she's the beast. And honestly, this girl, according to when I spoke to my brother Gabriel, and I guess now he's actually a full-on wrestling coach with Macias now at that gym.
They've been kind of intertwined throughout the years.
But I think now he's actually doing it. I think he's doing full time, I believe. But he's telling me that the beast right now, she is coming up in the ranks. She's always getting first place on her jiu-jitsu skills. Now she's getting herself involved in MMA and like just boxing, hitting. And I believe he said that she's going to be becoming a pro pretty soon at a young age for pro kids or something like that.
I don't know if they do such a thing, but maybe.
Well, something like that. I think that I could have been misunderstood, but I want to give a big shout out to her because she's been following our show. She loves our show, and her whole family loves it. And big shout out to you, little champ. You know, that's all I wanted to say.
I like it. I like it. Well, my heart's with her because I know she's in the game for real and it's something she loves.
Oh yeah.
If you follow her page, you can see that there's definitely a fighter there, and that the future is untold. So
Yeah.
play the game smart, develop, and get in it, get at it.
And what are your thoughts about that? You think? I mean, I know it's been brought up a couple of times. Suggestions maybe having an all kids event through maybe a Gym Crasher Pro type of thing. I mean, you think that might ever happen in the future?
We absolutely will be holding kids tournaments. There's no two ways about it. Probably on our next event.
That'd be awesome.
We're just trying to figure out the timeline for such a thing, and reaching out to the different dojos to make sure that we get the participants that really want to be a part of what we offer. But it will happen, absolutely.
Because we do see that stuff on the subs show with all these younger,
Yeah, I guess not to be confused. We do the production for subs. We always have since the Queen Mary. Albert Tapia has been a great partner of ours in that we did production, learned the game a lot from being there. Gym Crashers is what we do. It's very separate, very different. The team idea was that of Robert Simerson's and has been for years. We were once at Next Level Sports Complex, and his idea was to do it there. We couldn't because they closed down, and we moved over to US 5 in Norwalk. We had our dojo there for a while till they closed up shop, and again, he has not been able to implement that. So this being the second time, or third time really, because we did one at US 5, we did one in Galveston, and now the second one that we would call a pro event was here in San Pedro. So the idea's been there, and it's a unique idea. Robert's got other ideas. He's always spinning his wheels. My wheels don't spin at that level. I understand hand-to-hand combat between two people. Robert understands competitions based at a level such as a basketball tournament tournament like they had at Next Level, and how to position teams of jiu-jitsu people, which hadn't been done. Mind-boggling for me, but he figured it out. I was thinking it would be tag team wrestling, and somebody would come out and tag somebody else in when they got tired, but not the case.
No way.
And bracketing and the things that go along with figuring out how many actual competitors, how many matches, so on and so forth to get to the finals in order to make this thing happen in a fair and equitable manner. This is really what Robert does.
And Robert, honestly, a lot of people that don't know Robert, if they do know Robert, he's honestly, I'm giving him props right now because he is a hardworking man. He's always traveling around doing all these events, lugging all of his equipment and setting up the shows and venues along with Dondo and they work hard. You guys do work hard to make things right, for this Gym Crasher show, and we're gonna be there. We're gonna be there, next level. Coming soon.
It brings up an interesting thing. Joe is segueing, so I can talk about this now. It was asked to me numerous times, what exactly is Gym Crashers? For the people that know us, they know and have been a part of the Gym Crasher family, that we are a podcast. And from that podcast, we've done MMA events such as Sparstar, CXF, LXF, CFL, you name it. In Southern California, King of the Cage, Who's number one? Of course, jiu-jitsu, Fight to Win, Subversive. We've been a part of a lot of these things. Doing interviews. If we're not doing our podcast, we'd be out there doing interviews with the fighters and the jiu-jitsu competitors at their events and tournaments and fights. Even Muay Thai events, of course, like George Francis throws a wonderful event. It's called Fighters Rep. It's in Seal Beach, California. We will be doing that very soon. The date has not been announced, but we definitely are part of that crew.
In the production for them too.
We are their production crew. I have been a commentator on that event for Muay Thai in the past with my good friend, King of the Cage champion Joshua Aviles, who's now enlisted in the U.S. Army, protecting the country. So we're not limited to, but we started as a production company known as Free Admission Media. Our jiu-jitsu, MMA, boxing, Muay Thai, fight-based program is called Gym Crashers. That is what we're watching now. We also had the Gym Crashers Dojo, where Miguel Perez, Michael Souza, myself, Art Olivos, and Kent Tran were there as instructors, and we had our team there grow. But COVID, changes in venue, all these different factors come in, and it enabled us to actually continue and grow because we found that we could do things that other production companies couldn't. So people were quiet during the 2020 annual year of COVID, and we were not. We never stopped. We stayed busy. We did a lot of streaming. We did a lot of events. We did them underground. We did them out of state. And that brought us to where we're at now. So Gym Crashers, again, a big part of Free Admission Media, the podcast, the dojo, now the tournament. And we're not limited to that. Gym Crashers MMA, always a possibility. Gym Crashers Muay Thai, always a possibility. Gym Crashers Boxing, always a possibility. Gym Crashers Grappling at the moment, a t-shirt says Submission Grappling. We're a jiu-jitsu based fight team, but not limited to that. And of course, we love all aspects of the fight game. We do spend a large amount of time with OCCW doing the wrestling here. Joey's a big part of that, the pro wrestling guys. So even not limited to the pro wrestling side of things. Our great friend Zeta Zhang, pro wrestler in China, pro wrestler here in the United States. Like Troop, MMA fighter, pro wrestler. So
it's crazy because the fact that the way you're making it sound is the fact that eventually we're going to get so huge that we're going to probably branch off doing our own little things for Gym Crashers, where you're going to probably do one event this weekend, and we're going to this same weekend we're going to I'll be doing this event.
We've always done it, actually. We've always been able to separate. It's something that we did early on, but I found that I don't work so well without Robert. So,
well, you'll have Robert. I'll figure out something.
Somebody starts holding my camera, and I don't get my work done, so I get distracted. Adam Woods and I tried that, and we did some work, but it's not the same.
Not the same, huh?
Yeah, so I mean, if you have ideas, we're always open to that, and you guys can always wear the Gym Crasher moniker. We're all part of the team. I don't know exactly.
We just need a clone Robert. We need a second Robert.
Yeah, that's our marketing piece. So what Joey said earlier about Robert's talent, that has been the cornerstone for what we've built this on. He has been the eyes and ears, and I've been the mouth. It's really just the truth.
Yes,
he's the eyes, the ears, and the hands, and I'm just the mouth. I'm the voice and the face, I guess, the face of the company, because I get out there and I'm on camera. He's usually behind the camera. So we have our roles. We are dedicated to this. We can yell, bitch, moan, and scream, and then we get over it because we're brothers and we move on. But I would say that we are undefinable, because the one thing that we're driven towards is being successful at whatever it is we choose to do. So at the moment, we're tournament driven, we're podcast driven, but not limited to that, and open to ideas. All of our partners out there, we love you and thank you for every opportunity you've given us, from Albert Jarzabek with Celtic Gladiator, George with CXF and LXF, Tony Padilla with Sparstar, all of our homies, Michael Gross, opening doors for us like we're family whenever we come out. Of course, even the instructors such as Russ Mura down in Subfighter. We talked about the Badger being at CSW, always been a partner of ours and a friend. Chad George at CMMA, Brian Mendez at Six Blades, and there's so many. I hate to miss people. Ian Harris at Fight Science. Gosh, we even went out to Balquach's place, Rounders in Santa Ana. We've been to Violent Gentlemen in Costa Mesa. We've been over to King's MMA in Anaheim with Benil Dariush, who is basically top of the food chain right now, especially fighting against Tony Ferguson.
And it was
Saturday, right?
this Saturday.
Yes, it's
So
Saturday.
Benil Dariush, catch my interview on YouTube with Benil at his home school, Kings MMA Anaheim, fighting against Tony Ferguson this weekend.
It's crazy.
You know, and that's the battle right now that people are talking about at, you know, the top of the game, UFC. So
Yeah, and for our audience out there that's listening to Dondo right now, you know, it's just amazing what he's saying. All those events that he's mentioning, Robert, Jim Crasher, production, we've been all everywhere, and it's because you guys touched it, you guys filmed it, interviewing, commentating, everything. It's just amazing.
content driven. We're content driven.
Content driven, yeah.
So if you're wondering about the direction, it was always to encompass and showcase the talent in Southern California, Los Angeles, Orange County, Riverside, San Diego, Ventura, Oxnard, you name it. If it's part of Southern California the fight scene, then we're a part of it, and we've grown with it, and we've earned the way in, so to speak, or the respect of the promoters themselves to become promoters ourselves. So we're really excited to be promoting our jiu-jitsu event. We brought you Celtic Gladiator. We were stoked to have that. If Albert Jarzabak chooses to come back from, he's in Spain now, but he lives in Ireland, we'll bring you Celtic Gladiator again, too, because we'd like to be a part of MMA. MMA Events, Inc. You did that with us. Joey was a part of that. That was at the Long Beach Convention Center.
And then
Another
also-
great MMA event, right?
Yeah, another great event that was phenomenal. I mean, it was a
we
whole
did the production. We
production,
did the whole thing.
everything. We went downstairs to check out the whole like bodybuilding situation. They
Mm-hmm.
had a full-on little kickboxing tournament downstairs. Then we came back upstairs to do our production, and
We did it all. I was on a camera
yeah,
that
you were
night.
on camera that night. I remember that.
So I'm not limited. Whatever the team needs, we kind of do. If there's something in mind that one of the viewers has, let us know, because we're open to exploring new ideas,
Yes.
trying to grow what we do. And the motto is always that we grow together. And Robert's motto has always been team, together we achieve more. Together, everyone achieves more.
Yes, of
And
course.
that's really what he lives by. And sometimes I have to reel that in just a little bit, because we just have to make things happen here at home first to make things happen outward.
Yeah.
But he's so open-armed and loving of people, man. He really wants to see the world succeed.
Yes, he does.
So I can't fault him for that. So we're exact opposites, and I try to drive things in a different direction. And his open heart and open mind and open ideas are really encompassing everybody that we come into contact with. And people know this about him. So, he's a hard worker, and he's driven, and he completes things. He's got great follow-through. And I'm there just to make sure that we keep it at a high level, because that's my expectation of all things that we do,
Yes.
including this podcast. Moment it hits the dumps, I'm out the door. Try something new. Just the truth.
And you know what? And then being behind the scenes on Saturday, watching the crew running the show, I mean, they treat the whole staff with a lot of respect, make sure they're fed, make sure they got their snacks, their water. I mean, production went smooth. I mean, just sitting behind the scenes, watching these guys pushing the buttons,
Let me tell you something. Me and Robert drove 24 hours straight to Houston, Texas. Put on an event, ate some barbecue. At midnight, got in the car, drove 24 hours straight to get me back to work on a Monday morning.
Damn.
And we did it twice. This through COVID. When everybody else was locked down, we were flying down the 10 freeway. So we don't lack enthusiasm.
That must have been a smelly ride home.
It is always a smelly and interesting ride with two guys that are eating baked beans and
barbecue.
steak, and we stop and eat just about everything. Yes. And we had Jeff Rucci. If you guys don't know Jeff Rucci, he trained with 10 Planet Long Beach, 10 Planet headquarters. He's an interesting fellow. We squeezed him into the size of a box behind of all of our production equipment for a 24-hour ride home, and then gassed him out completely for the entire ride. So I don't know. It was a free ride. He could have got a really, really expensive Uber home from Houston, but
jeez.
he rode for free with us, so you've got to pay the price,
No shit.
right? You're going to ride with the sumo wrestlers, you're going to smell that sumo's gi, or whatever those little underwears they wear. What's that thing called? Huh? Matawashi.
Marawashi.
That's it. Robert's Matawashi is full of strange colors and gases.
I thought he was a brown belt, but it wasn't.
No, Robert is a black belt and judo no shit.
You don't know shit. Oh man.
It's fact. But yeah, I really, it's not that we are one thing, it's that we are all encompassing and growing all the time, and not limited to just about anything. And there's things people know about us that are our friends and family that know that we're just waiting to venture into doing, and we haven't done yet. I go home every night and work on certain things that are personal to me that I have not unveiled yet that will be a part of Free Admission Media in some capacity and will be done on a high level. We're all driven that way, and the people that we're choosing to work with all have ideas. So it would be very, very difficult for me to define, but yes, we come from the beginnings of being a media company, a podcast. What did we call it originally? It was really a group of podcasts, network. Sorry, we had a podcast network because we had the stripper comedy show, we had the wrestling show, the MMA show. I mean, there were so many different shows. Got John Del O's show,
Yeah.
right? There's been so many. He's done some fabulous work with a young lady that had a Sig Sauer, and he did a promo for Sig. I love those guns. I am a lover of Sig Sauer, and the shot he did for this young lady, look at it under Free Admission Media. Beautiful shot of the pistol. We're taking it apart, putting it back together, and just can't believe it. He's done UFC embedded style stuff for multiple fighters, Alex Perez, Jalen Turner. He's over at Ruka often with his partner G, getting in places that normal people don't get into. So friends with just about everybody because he's good-hearted, and with their trainers and people that train out of their garages and out of their condominiums and in their houses.
Yeah.
Plus, I think Jacob Parga, Jason House.
Yeah, Jacob Parga and Jason House are a big part of how we got here because we reached out to them before we were even on a map, so to speak, and they gave us the time of day, and they're a very legitimate and wonderful company at that time, and now they're leaders in the game. So, yeah, can't thank them enough. That's a huge one. And their stable of fighters, if you don't know about Iridium Sports Agency, the stable of fighters that they encompass and represent, second to none in Bellator, UFC, and some of the lower ranking minor league fights, but they're at the top of the food chain bringing them up. So
Of course.
can't say enough about those dudes. Can't thank them enough. But none of this is possible without John Del O. I repeat that over and over, and I'll say it again. Without John Del O, we don't know each other. Without John Del O, we don't know how to fight.
Well, we would know each other.
Yeah, me and Robert knew each other, wouldn't know how to fight. We thought we knew how to fight. We knew how to get beat up.
We came here together.
Yes, we did. We came here together, and we're still here together. A lot of years behind that, and a lot of years prior to that.
Yeah.
But yeah, the fact is that John gave us the gift of understanding the fight game and not limited to ground, not limited to stand, not limited to just any aspect of the game. It really is a fight style that he developed himself, passed on to us. And when I say passed on, it physically passed it on to us, whether we liked it or not. As soon as you step into the dojo, we had no choice. It's a different game now. We see that. Everyone's getting older, but much respect to him for having a very, very high bar for everybody that walked through the door. Frank Park, Tom Kenny, John himself, guys like the SZA, Scott. What's Scott's last name? Bromwich, Scott Bromwich. Is it Bromage? Bromage sounds like cheese. Scott Bromwich.
sounds like cheese.
Little Chucky Wan. I love that guy, right? Henry
That's
Corrales.
funny. That is funny.
Right? There's so many dudes that came from here. The Taylor O's, the Tino Evo guys trained here. So if you think they're just two guys that just rolled out of a Honda Civic off the 22, good luck to you. Savage animals that print T-shirts.
Yeah.
Miguel Perez, Art Olivos, our homeboys.
Yeah, it's like I mean, I eventually met John, but I've been through a lot of different coaches from my old boxing coach that passed away a while back to meeting
Joe Moreira.
No, before Joe Moreira, it was Timo Yama. I mean, Colin, and then mixed that. And then once that was gone, then I met, of course,
Had birthday Colin Oyama.
who else?
Colin Oyama's birthday yesterday.
Oh, it was. And also, and of course, meeting with Gina Joaquin and, of course, Joe Moreira. And then after that, finally ran into John, geez, I think back in, I would say, 2015, I think.
Man.
As a just a fan at a show, and he needed a ring announcer, so I picked the mic, and that was it. And that's how John and I became good friends after that. And it was part of OCCW podcast until you guys pulled me in.
The Royal Rumble. Royal Ramble.
The Royal Ramble.
Royal Rambo.
Rambo. And been here ever since. And, and honestly, I appreciate the opportunity you guys have given me so far, being part of you guys' family. And
You have a specific talent that should be put in front of a camera. Got to wield that.
Yeah.
You know, it's up to you how you want to use that because, as you can see, you got your own viewership. So
And it's crazy. And
Build
like that's what I love to do is build it because of the fact that you guys, you know, brought me along, and I was kind of nervous a little bit because I'm thinking, fuck, I go out doing wrestling. Now I'm going to do stuff about MMA and jiu-jitsu, which I only know a little bit about, you know, now that
you had Adam Woods, and he's so wrestling. It would,
Yeah, I know.
It would throw my game off. I cannot talk about wrestling at end like that. Not pro wrestling,
Yeah.
whatever you call it.
But
I won't call it fake wrestling. I've been schooled on that, so we'll call it pro wrestling.
But great. But you know what? Hey, but this is like I said, this is a great show we've been having. We a big, you know, awesome with the production with Robert and
I forgot to announce
Oh.
that we're going to be having a new Jim Crasher
A new
spin-off
concept, yes.
with Joey
And
Oh.
Adam. Well, we'll make it. Let me make this.
okay, go
announcement
ahead,
for
go ahead,
Joey.
go ahead.
I'm going to let Joey run with it, but
No, go ahead.
Gym Crashers, as it continues to grow, and as we continue to take on new ventures, it limits our ability to do what we love most. From my perspective, is that to get that inside story from the fighter themselves. In order to do that and have authenticity and actually go out and train and actually see where the fighters come from, which is what we'd always believed in, we want Adam and Joey the Bull to carry the torch here at the studio and to continue that tradition of what goes on here. Robert and myself will be going out to visit people in their home environments, whether it be their garage, their training academy, their dojo, their gym, their fitness academy, their boxing school, whatever it may be, wherever they're doing their thing, developing their skills and pushing it to the limit, we're going to come out. But I'm going to break off to Joe and say, hats off to you, buddy, because you're going to take it and run with it.
Dude.
I don't know what you're going to call it. The bullpen.
The bullpen. Honestly, folks, it's going to be a great show. I mean, with especially myself and Adam, we're going to be like Laura and Hardy. I mean, it's going to be everything talking about from MMA to, I mean, every part of MMA, from jiu-jitsu, boxing, everything, every style you could think of. And of course, maybe bring up some stories that we hear from like either some wrestling, some little bit of hot topics that are going on with a lot of these fighters nowadays.
I think you should make it funny. That's what you do.
And that's what we're going to do. I mean, we're going to bring up some topics that it's going to make your ass laugh. And I'm going to bring back Joey the Bull, but keep it kind of PG because, you know, I don't want to get kicked off the show and too many sensitive people out there nowadays.
It's your show, Joe.
It's my show. I can do what the fuck I want.
Light the walls on fire.
I'm going to light the freaking place. We're going to give it hell. So,
Midgets, donkeys.
Dude, who can tell? I mean, I might have, you know, hopefully I can get some of my hookups and call my boy Rodman and have him come on the show. You know, I mean,
That would be interesting. Wear a wedding dress.
I'll wear a wedding dress that day if we get him on the show. That'd be freaking awesome. But anyway, dude, it's gonna be fun. Adam and I are gonna do a great show, and yeah, we're gonna keep the Jim Crasher legacy keep going.
As you can tell, we're developing the concept for his show. So sounds a lot like we've done in the past, but we're actually going to put a twist on it and make sure it's fun, make sure it's a new concept so that it's something for you to watch.
Yes.
Because we're not going to completely do the same thing over and over, which is madness. You know what I mean? So the idea is to do something new and fun.
Yes, and that's what we're
I
gonna
think
start doing.
that's what the idea is.
Yes, and of course, once again, this has been. I got some of these viewers throwing out their comments. Bull
Yep.
Noble, Joey the Bull, the man. Hey, I love you
Right?
guys. Love the audience. Hey, love you guys. Believe me, it's gonna be a great concept.
Not his first rodeo.
This is not my first rodeo. We're gonna.
Right?
I'm gonna be the Brown Howard Stern of the West Coast. Believe me, I'm gonna have everybody from littles to talls to he, she's. Who? We'll see what happens. Anyway, this has been
That's
another.
a better start. I like that better because that's something we haven't done. So let's take it in a new direction.
We're gonna be like the Howard Stern of the West Coast. Put it that way. But anyway, this has been another great Jim Crasher show with myself and of course Dondo.
Thank you.
And of course Robert behind the scenes. We'll catch you next week on the flip side.